I'm Caitlin Matson. This is the Green Room. Joining me in the Green Room this afternoon is Maestro Yaniv Segal from the Salina Symphony Orchestra, talking to us about the next concert that the Salina Symphony is giving this Sunday at 4 o'clock, Lights, Camera, Cabaret. Hello, Yaniv.
Good afternoon, Caitlin. It's nice to see you.
It's good to see you as always. This is going to be a fantastic program. It's innovative. It has something new, I think, for a lot of people,
Yep,
experience something they might not have ever heard before. Can you tell us all about it?
absolutely. So it's a cabaret show, both in the way it's constructed as in addition to the music that's on the concert itself. So we're opening with the Willkommen, which is the welcome introduction to that 1966 Broadway musical Cabaret, which is a lot of fun to play. And we're partnering together with Maggie Spicer Brown from Theater Salina, as well as some of the dancers from her dance company there, Iron Street Dance Company. So we're opening with Broadway music. And then we're continuing with two pieces by Leroy Anderson, who is perhaps one of the most well known American composers of light orchestral music that, things like Sleigh Ride, for example, which we hear every year. But he had this amazing ability to capture the essence of something in a way that was accessible, charming, and fun. And so the two numbers we're doing by him are called Jazz Legato and Jazz Pizzicato. So again, highlighting this kind of jazzy element in orchestral music. And then on the first half, we have two more pieces that were written in this century by a hybrid jazz classical composer colleague that I've known for many years, whose name is Kyle Saulnier. And Kyle, I knew him way back when I was living in New York and living a freelance life, because his wife was a violinist. And so we frequently played gigs and concerts together. We would hang out in the same groups. And I never actually got to play music with him because he was, or still is, baritone and other saxophone performer, and he was doing jazz music, and I never got to do the jazz gigs. So I'm really excited that he's rewritten some of his music to work for symphonic orchestra. So we get to perform some of his music. On one of them, he's even featured as a Barry sax soloist. So he's going to be out in front of the orchestra, improving while we are like his backup band. There's one of the numbers also is a song for jazz singer that is based on a text by Edna St. Vincent Millay, who was a Pulitzer Prize winning poet. And both Cabaret and Millay, those they would take place around the same period of time, like the 1920s and 30s. One in Germany, one in the United States, but this kind of period, interwar period of artistic exploration into jazz and other things. In America we have the swing era, and in Germany during this time we had the Weimar Republic, which
Yeah.
would produce people like Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht, which then is the focus of our second half, which is their last collaboration called The Seven Deadly Sins.
Now, The Seven Deadly Sins is a work for voice. It is often staged as a one-act opera.
Yep.
And you have a vocalist, Janie Brockenicki, joining you. She's been featured with a symphony before.
Yep. She's fantastic. She sings not only a jazzy Broadway style, but also classical style. So this type of piece, like a ballet chanté, like a song ballet, is perfect for her because she can absolutely belch when needed, sing classical when needed, sing jazz when needed. And yes, the original piece was intended for a jazz singer, because Kurt Weill wrote it for his wife Lotte Lenya, who is a famous German cabaret singer, a ballerina, and then also a barbershop quartet to represent the family of our protagonist, Anna. And in our case, we don't have four people singing, but instead we have a chorus of 12 or 13 from Kansas Wesleyan University who are singing the role of the family.
And you have a dancer, of course, kind of shadowing Anna or acting as the action on stage.
Right.
with Janie, and her name is Allison Hyatt. She's a local dancer from the Salina area.
Yep. So in the in the script, we have Anna 1 and Anna 2. So it turns out that we learn that Anna has a split personality. So we're seeing both sides of her personality, and so Allison slightly interacts with Janie on stage, but really we're just seeing the manifestation of her, more risque side. And Allison, yes, she is a native, and she studied both nursing and dance at the University of Kansas. And she works as a nurse in Salina and still choreographs and dances and is brilliant. We had a rehearsal last night, a staging rehearsal with just the two of them. And what she's bringing is absolutely perfect.
We're going to talk so much more about your upcoming concert, which is this Sunday, November the 10th at 4 o'clock at the Stiefel Theater. Tickets and information can be found at salinasymphony.org. We are going to take a brief pause and listen to a couple pieces. We're going to listen to those couple of Leroy Anderson pieces, the Pizzicato Legato. Is it Legato, right?
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
Well, one is jazz pizzicato and the other is
Yes.
jazz legato. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to listen to those right now, and we'll be back to talk more with Maestro Yaniv Segal from the Salina Symphony. Two short pieces by Leroy Anderson, Jazz Pizzicato and Jazz Legato, both being performed on this coming Sunday's symphony concert, Salina Symphony. This is the Green Room. I have Maestro Yaniv Segal joining me, filling us in on what's happening this weekend. A very exciting program called Lights, Camera, Cabaret, a true evening of cabaret music. Now, you mentioned at the beginning, not only are we hearing cabaret music, but you're setting the scene of a cabaret. Can you tell us a bit about visually how we'll see the Stiefel?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've put some elevated platforms and a ramp through the orchestra. So the action of the Seven Deadly Sins is not just concert version with the singer out front, but there's actually going to be movement and motion throughout the orchestra, which brings us into, it kind of starts to break that fourth wall, right? When the dancing and the singing is coming from within the orchestra as well as in front of it. So I think that is a neat element. There are also going to be some projections for setting the scene for Seven Deadly Sins. It frequently gets staged as a kind of opera, so you can do it with full costumes and things like that. But ours is more a concert version plus a little extra.
And that little extra is dancer Allison Hyatt. This concert also features guest artists from Kansas Wesleyan University and Theater Salina. Community collaboration is a common theme with Salina Symphony. Definitely part of your mission, and it shows because
Yeah.
these community artists pop up at just about every concert you have.
Well, so the vocal program at Kansas Wesleyan is very impressive. These parts that they're singing, as I said earlier, originally for barbershop quartet, they're quite challenging. And I'm really impressed with the preparation of the students and how they're sounding. So I'm really happy to work with them. And then also, with a local dancer, but also with the dancers and Maggie Spicer from Theater Salina, the same kind of thing. They're bringing a professionalism at a young age. They're being very well trained and very well prepared to go out and, like Allison, maybe they'll have a career that's not in the arts, but they will always have the arts as an important part of their life. And
Yeah.
so I'm really happy to be able to do these kinds of projects that bring in so many elements.
The symphony itself, the role that the symphony plays, especially in the Kurt Weill Seven Deadly Sins. Yes, it's often staged as an operetta. A lot of times it would have a small combo, maybe, or pit orchestra. This is a full orchestra performing jazz and cabaret. Can you tell us a bit about maybe the difference between this concert and others where they're performing traditional repertoire?
Yeah. So we are, well, Kurt Weill is a very unique composer, first of all, in the output of classical music, because he writes for orchestra and treats it kind of like a jazz band. So everybody's having a blast, taking over different roles, either melody or lead or accompaniment or rhythm section. And he has a unique sound in his orchestration that once you understand his language, you'll start to recognize him in other pieces as well. Uh, and on the first half, with Broadway and with jazz, again, we're highlighting the richness of a symphony orchestra in a genre that's not typically associated with it. So if you play jazz in a club with a combo with 3 or 4 people, you're getting melody, you're getting harmony, you're getting rhythm, but you can't possibly have the amount of color that a symphony can have with the strings, with the winds, with the brass, with the percussion, and any combination of those instruments. So I think it's really neat to hear music that has its birth in a different genre finding its way into the concert hall, just like Gershwin did with Rhapsody in Blue, just like I don't know, even film music, the same kind of idea of many genres, but what is possible with a symphony orchestra. So for this concert, it's really great because if you don't know what a symphony orchestra sounds like, you're gonna you're gonna hear things that you've never heard before. And this program is really accessible at the same time because all this music comes from a more popular style of music finding its way into the concert hall.
Can you give us, the logistics one final time? When, where,
Yep.
how?
Yep. So at 4 o'clock this Sunday at the Stiefel Theater is our concert. Uh, you can get tickets at the box office or on the Stiefel's website or the salinasymphony.org. And I would invite you to come early at 3 o'clock on stage. I will be on stage together with Kyle Saulnier, our featured composer this week, and we'll have a chat about what his life in music and what his path has been like, how that translates to the symphonic world. There's also we do these fun things with a signature drink. So we do have a bar open, and given that this is a cabaret theme, I'm looking forward to what that signature drink will be. But you can come and enjoy a cocktail or not, and just relax and enjoy the show.
Yaniv, have a fabulous concert. This sounds exciting, innovative, and congratulations on putting together another fantastic season of the Salina Symphony.
Appreciate it. Thanks.